Hello everybody, Bruce Elgort here with a video that's going to introduce and go over everything you need to know about CTEC 122 HTML fundamentals for the fall 2020 quarter. You will be learning how to develop web pages using HTML and CSS that are mobile responsive and accessible for all users. By the way, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. As I said before, my name is Bruce Elgort. I'm a tenure-track instructor here at Clark. Let's see, I've been teaching almost 8 years now. And on the right side, you can see all the different things and places I've worked in and over my career, including, 12 years at Underwriters Laboratories, another 12 at Sharp, and then I had my own little software startup called Elguji Software. I also have done work for lynda.com, which is now owned by Microsoft. I hold 15 different Microsoft certifications. I'm recognized by IBM as what they call an IBM champion, as well as by Amazon, and in particular the Amazon Web Services Educate program as a cloud ambassador. Prior to going to college, I always wanted to be a rock star. I'm a drummer and a wannabe guitar player. On the left there, you could see a picture of me on the left-hand side. My wife is on the left, and the guy with the wine bottle, that's my best friend from high school, and still my best friend. His name is Tommy Henriksen. He plays guitar for Alice Cooper, and you can see him in the middle of the screen there with Johnny Depp. And below that, you can see my family with Alice Cooper. And on the right, that's me playing the drum set for Glenn Sobel, who is the drummer for Alice Cooper. So let's just say I didn't wind up as a guitar player for a classic rock band. So here I am. I still play drums and I still play guitar. I went to college in Hoboken, New Jersey at a private engineering school called Stevens Institute of Technology. I graduated with a Bachelor of Engineering in Electrical Engineering. And and then I went to go work for Underwriters Laboratories. That's me using a PC. And if you see me hunched over the keyboard like that, that's what I do because I'm legally blind and I have really poor eyesight. I don't drive a car. But yeah, you'll see me, if you ever see me, looking really close at the screen. So that's just me, because I wear bifocals, and the bottom portion of my glasses are magnifying glasses. And I think y'all know that if you look through a magnifying glass at something far away, it's blurry. So you have to bring that object closer to the magnifying glass so it becomes clear. Believe it or not, that little thing on the left there, that article, that's me back in, I believe, 1986 or 87, teaching a class at Underwriters on how to use the IBM PC. I was fortunate enough to have my employer pay for my master's degree, which I got from New York University's Polytechnic School of Engineering. I teach 13 different classes at Clark. Not all at one time, but over the course of my tenure there, and you can see them all listed there. And this course, the one you're taking now, is one I've taught a lot. So that's that. So just so you know, you'll hear me refer to the online section of this class and the remote section throughout the course. The online section is section 2298, and that's the number that's in CTC link. And that class never, ever, ever meets. It doesn't meet in person. It doesn't meet via Zoom. It's all self-paced, student learning. The other section, 2299, is the remote section, which meets on Mondays on Zoom from 1 to 2:50 p.m. And just know that those classes are recorded, and I place them only for the remote section in Canvas for you to go back and watch. In fact, they're transcribed, so you can actually search for words and find where we talked about them in class, okay? Like I said, every class gets recorded, it's transcribed. Yeah, so I just forgot that this slide was there. Zoom office hours. This is for all the classes, the remote and online. Fridays from 10 to 11 a.m. and Sundays from 10 to 11 a.m. If you can't make either of those extra help sessions, let me know. Send me a message on Slack. And let me know when a good time to help you out would be. Also, if you do plan on attending one of those meetings, let me know ahead of time. Let me know what kind of questions you may have, or particular topics. It'll help me prepare, so I don't sit there and waste your time. Yeah, so that's that. The book for this class is called Murax HTML5 and CSS3, 4th edition. It's available at the Clark Bookstore or wherever books are sold. You can find it all over the web to buy, yeah. Let's see. The web development tools you'll be using for this class. You're going to be using all free tools, by the way. The code editor that we're going to use is called Microsoft's Visual Studio Code. It's a very popular code editor nowadays. FTP client for Windows, that's if you're using a Windows computer. We're going to be using something called WinSCP. And by the way, FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. It's going to allow you to send files to a web server and for you to also retrieve files from a web server to work on. You can walk on them if you want. And then we're going to be using, if you're using a Macintosh computer, OS X, you'll be using FileZilla. And then we're going to be using W3C validation services. And I believe this is on the syllabus quiz. A couple of these things are actually. And those validation services, we're going to use one for HTML and one for CSS. And what those services are going to do is make sure that you coded everything correctly, all right? So let's move on. This course has a lot of different components that that'll help determine, that will determine your grade in this class. And they're all listed right here. There's a syllabus and module 0 quiz. It's worth 1% of your final grade, and you have to complete it during week 1. There's a practice web page assignment. It's worth 1%, and it occurs once during week 2. So you're going to start that in week 1, and you turn it in week 2. It allows you to make sure you have everything configured correctly, and that you can, code something and push it up using the FTP software to what we call the CTEC server, CTEC, the Clark web server. Student introductions on Slack. Again, that's going to be due like the first couple days of class. It's worth 1% of your grade. And then the web development workflow setup. There's a couple things that you're going to need to do, and you need to follow. There's a couple things that you're going to need to do, and you're going to carefully, you're going to need to carefully follow the instructions to make sure you get everything right. Okay, so there's a lot of things in the first week. There are 3, 4, 5, like 5 or 6% of your grade gets determined right then and there. And then you'll have web page assignments where you'll be coding, web pages. You may get 1 a week, you may get 2 a week. It just all depends, and that's worth 53% of your final grade. And then I do have a few discussion topics in there. They're only worth 6%. They're not going to be, they're not going to take a lot of your time. And then written quizzes. There will be 1 per week, 15% of your final grade. Then you're going to have a final project or 12% of your final grade. And that's something that actually is going to be, I think, weeks 8, 9, and 10, or 9, 10, and 11 of the quarter. It's going to be a several week type of assignment. And then each week, I ask you to fill out what's called an exit slip. Tell me what you learned. Tell me what you found hard to comprehend. And tell me where you may need more help or assistance, all right? I started using those in the class this summer, and they really proved to be beneficial for the student and myself, okay? I do use a program called Slack. Some of you may have used it before. Think of it like, it's kind of like Discord or Microsoft Teams. It allows you to keep in touch with me, and it allows us for you to ask questions in various things. There are desktop versions of it, web browser versions of it, and mobile versions of it. I highly recommend to students that they install it on their computer and their phone, okay? Again, it's really proven to be a beneficial tool for students to, again, keep in touch with me and collaborate with one another. There's a few channels in Slack. There's an announcements channel. That's where anytime I publish an announcement in Canvas, it'll make its way into Slack so you can see it there. There's a channel to have general discussions about the class. There is a code from class channel. If you're in the remote section and I happen to do some code, I'll put it there so you can have access to it. The introductions channel is going to be where you're going to do that assignment that I spoke of earlier, where you're going to introduce yourself on Slack. There's a questions channel where you can ask any and all questions, not only for me to answer, but for other students to help answer as well. And then there's a random channel where you can post random topics about web development, HTML, CSS, technology, as long as they're relevant to the course. And then some Slack tips. You'll be able to share HTML and CSS code. I'm going to provide a demonstration of this, not in this video, but in another video, maybe in Module 2. Feel free to use what are called Slack reactions. Instead of saying cool or great, there's a way, if you hover over someone's comment or post inside of Slack, you can hover your mouse over it and add a reaction, a thumbs up, a slice of pizza, a high five. I highly encourage you to use those. And then what you really want to do are use what are called threaded replies. So there's a way for you, if somebody asks a question, instead of posting a reply right below what they said, if you hover your mouse over, there'll be a little icon on the right. It'll look like a chat bubble. So click on that and it'll keep all of the discussions threaded. And that means you won't get crosstalk between, posts and stuff like that. So now I'm going to go over the Canvas shell for this particular class, and let's take a look. So now I'm in the Canvas shell. I'm using Google Chrome. And just so you know, my view of Canvas is going to look a little bit different than yours. Let me just make this full screen. And let's start with the navigation. Home is going to take you to this view right here. Announcements will take you to a view of all the announcements that I send out. And remember that they'll also be cross-posted in Slack. If you want to look at your grade in the class or what you received on a particular assignment, you'll click on Grades. If you want to access the Clark Library, that's the library link. Modules is the same view as you're looking at now. It just doesn't have the announcements at the top. Panopto recordings, that's something where you can access, if you're in the remote section, the recordings for the class, but I'm also going to put them within the module itself. Search is also this thing in the upper right hand corner here, which allows you to perform a full text search of any of the content contained within the course. that's published. The Slack group link here, this is to the online section. This is to the remote section. If you're using Slack through a web browser, that's where these things are going to take you. Student services, that has to do with Clark Student Services. If you click on syllabus, which I just did, it's going to take you to a PDF and a Word document of the syllabus. Zoom Room, if you click on this, it's going to take you to, and you click on here, it's going to open up Zoom for you so you can participate in the class, just like I clicked on here. Okay, that's only for office hours, right? And for people in the remote section. I hide the assignments view because everything you're going to need to know will be contained within the modules there. And that's it, actually. That's all of the various links. The eyeball with the line through it, that means that's not for students to see. So let me go back to the home view here. And I'll take you through Module 0, okay? And what Module 0 is just information about the course. It's a link to this video that you're watching right now. And you'll notice before each of these items, it'll either say watch, read, complete, and that should help you out as you navigate through Canvas. Course introduction, the syllabus for this course, the weekly schedule of assignments and quizzes, the textbook for the course and any additional resources, office hours, communications. I'm not going to go through all of these here. Resources and links, and of course I have unused things here. Module 1, by the way, you have to go through wherever it says view. In order to go on to the next module, you have to view all of the items, right, that are marked view, okay? So the way that each and every module is structured is there's an introduction, tells you what we're going to be learning, what we call what the learning outcomes are, slide decks, any of that good stuff. And then each module has one or more units with things you need to read and or watch or both. And yeah, and then all of the assignments, right? Here's one that says introduce yourself on Slack, right? And here's one that says complete web development environment configuration. And then this is the steps to complete the practice assignment that's actually due in week 2, but I have you get started on it in week 1. And then here are the quizzes, right? This is the syllabus and module 0 quiz. This is actually, this is in the wrong spot. This it should be somewhere else. So this should be actually in module, actually, it's due on the 28th. So upload, you know something, I need to just take a look at this. So let me just put this right here for now. That was my mistake. And then the quizzes, right? The syllabus and module 0 quiz and the complete quiz 1. There's actually an exit slip assignment, but I didn't put it in here yet. So just so you know, all right? And then module 2, it's going to be the same format. Things that you need to read, things that you need to watch, right? It's all outlined, and everything should be pretty well spelled out. And if it's not, just let me know. If there's an additional video that you think you need to help you understand a topic, again, just let me know. I can produce these videos fairly quickly with code examples and things like that. So yeah, that's the introduction to Canvas. And again, if there's something that's not right, I own all my mistakes. So if there's a mistake on a quiz, for the most part, continue on with the quiz, take a note. After you're done with it, let me know what you found that was in error or you had a question about, and I can remedy that after the quiz is over, okay? Like I said, I do make mistakes and I will own them. And if I need to award credit to everyone for a mistake I made, you bet it's gonna happen. All right. So that's it. Thanks for watching this introduction and overview video. Catch me on Slack if you have any questions, and I look forward to teaching you everything you need to know about HTML fundamentals. Have a great day, everybody.